The Information Man Show. Come on, welcome everybody. All right, everybody. Peace. All right, everybody. Peace, everybody. Welcome to the Information Man Show. Welcome, everybody. Welcome. Tonight is going to be interesting because I'm going to get into more participation from the chat room. So what I've got set up tonight is I'll be able to read your messages a lot better. But the most important thing is that I'll be able to really ask everybody questions on the topic that you see on the video. And this is about the Tulsa, Oklahoma, the Centennial, the 100 years of a racial massacre. Viola Fletcher is one of the featured survivors. She was 7 years old. I have her on the thumbnail, as you can see. And one of the reasons why I picked that thumbnail is because the thing that trips me out about it is that she's got the Nike shoes on. Now, I don't know if she picked that out or folks just put that on her to make her look like she's hip. But the thing that bothers me about it is that Nike is a billion-dollar company. She needs reparations. Everybody who is alive, all three of them, all the descendants of Greenwood need reparations. Now, Joe Biden went out there today to give his speech. But the thing that kills me about this whole thing is that you're still not getting the reparations. That's the topic that everybody wants to slip away from. Joe Biden's administration has slipped away from it. The commission, the Centennial Commission of this massacre that was set up in this community, they were playing funny business. Let me, before I say everybody, shout everybody out in the chat room that's coming in, let me go ahead and read something to you. It's what they now call the single worst incident of a racial violence in America. A mob of white men descended on Black Wall Street, which at the time was the wealthiest Black community in the United States. In 2001, a state commission reported that 26 Blacks and 13 whites were killed in the event, and much of Black Wall Street was burned to the ground. And we know that's not true. It's over 300 Black folks. They've got mass graves out there that they're trying to dig up respectfully. Now, this weekend that just passed, let me read this to you here. This weekend marked the 100th anniversary of the event. Let me know if you all can hear me in the chat room by putting a 1. I want to make sure you can hear me. This weekend marked the 100th anniversary, as you all know, of an event with 3 living survivors Monday. Remembering the rise, the event was supposed to be a night to honor the victims of the massacre. That's tonight. But that came to a sudden halt. They stopped it when attorneys Solomon Simmons submitted a list of requests to the 1921 Tulsa Race Massacre Centennial Commission in order to have the survivors attend. So basically, they wanted to nickel and dime. Viola Fletcher was being interviewed by Roland Martin, and in that interview, Roland Martin had said, "Oh, they so graciously gave you $100,000," and Roland was acting like it was a surprise, and Viola said she was happy to get the money because she wanted to help her family. But check this out. The survivors and descendants were already asking for money. So this was no surprise. It was a deal that was cut because the last living survivors and their descendants were saying, no, you're not going to just use us for a show. We're not going to just let the community of Oklahoma, the state, just make some money off of Black sorrow. And so let me read this to you. See, you got Black folks who also make it bad for us as well. State Senator Kevin Matthews, the chairman of the commission of this commission for the Tulsa, Oklahoma massacre, had agreed to provide $100,000 to each of the 3 survivors, which is chump change compared to what they went through, along with $2 million in seed money for a reparations fund. On Friday, this was the Friday leading up to this past weekend that they had this centennial, $1 million to go to each surviving victims, and $50 million was demanded according to Daily Mail. Monday Remembrance, a rising event, was to feature John Legend. You heard about John Legend supposed to be singing. See, we don't need entertainment. These folks don't need entertainment. They need repair. John Legend and Stacey Abrams, but it was all canceled. And it was canceled because Kevin Matthews, who is Black, who's a state senator, who's a part of this, he's the leader on this commission, he tried to nickel and dime the survivors because they just wanted to use them to make everything look good. And when they asked for certain things that they wanted, then the negotiations broke off. So therefore, this special concert and whatever they were supposed to be doing, it all got canceled. Solomon Simmons, who is the lawyer for the survivors of the massacre, is representing the survivors and their descendants in a lawsuit against the city of Tulsa and other defendants seeking reparations. Now you've had, I think there was a movie on HBO. You even had Viola Fletcher say when she met with the Congress that people have been making money off of their story, off of their experience, and getting it wrong. Everybody's been making money. HBO came out with a program where they featured that particular event. They're making money. Where did that money go? You got these politicians trying to make money. In the case of State Senator Kevin Matthews, who wants to negotiate. Now, I heard him talk on the radio today on the news, and he kept talking about, well, we're not really, we could talk about reparations, we could figure out something, but what we want to really do is the same thing that Joe Biden say. They want to get into the housing, where we want to make sure that people don't get red lined out of housing and what have you. Just enough nonsense to say to yourself, black folks went down there. I even seen a video where you had a U.S. congressman, black brothers on my Twitter page. They were hitting the drums and he's dancing. And I'm saying to myself, why are you celebrating? Black people were killed in this community. There's nothing to be dancing about. What you need to be doing, Congressman, is you need to be focusing on the reparations that these people deserve. Everybody got giddy. Everybody was clapping their hands when Joe Biden came down there to visit today. And all Joe Biden did, in my estimate, was to give a de facto campaign speech again. Now, let me go up in here and see who we have in the chat room. I'm going to check people out. I appreciate people coming on over. And we got Tiffany Jackson. She says, liars. They are liars. They have no intentions of giving black people anything. I want to know your thoughts tonight. We got Anita B saying, salute information, man. I appreciate that. Let's go back up. Golden Melanin that says, Courtney, thank you. Omega Courtney, peace to you if you are in the chat room. Thank you for coming on through, sister. We got a Vice with Mel. She said, exactly, nonsense. This is my thing. This is the thing. Let me put something on the screen here. This is the thing. I'm not going to lie. I thought it was beautiful to see the 3 living survivors. I thought it was beautiful to hear Viola speak. But what I noticed about Viola Fletcher, and the reason why I'm focusing on her particularly, because she's been speaking, is that when she's interviewed, she's a writer. She's a revolutionary, because when I hear her talking, I don't hear her talking about, I'm so glad that I hear her saying, I want justice. And I hear her talking about she want reparations. That 107-year-old sister continues to say she wants justice. She wants money. She's involved in this suit. She's involved in telling their lawyers when they were trying to generate this money. Oh, I got something to tell y'all right now. I got something to tell you. Check this out. And y'all wonder why they were demanding money, $50 million. They were asking for $1 million apiece for these survivors who could use that money for their descendants. Oh, let me tell you what happened. Do you know that this commission that this Negro overlooks, this Kevin Matthews, he's a senator, he's black. They got $30 million. I'm not stuttering. I'm telling the truth and shaming the devil here. They got $30 million, which they weren't going to break them off that money. So I found that out today. Keep my ears to find out what's going on, is that this commission that they put together, that Kevin, see, even your own people will backstab you, folks, that Kevin Matthews is a state senator, and he's in charge of this Tulsa Massacre Commission. This commission has been pulling in the money. And when they got that $30 million, they didn't go out of their way to say, let's share this with the families. Let's share some of this money. It's like Black Lives Matter, where they got that $90 million, and you got family members like Mike Brown's father, who came out and spoke about it, Tamir Rice's mother speaking out how Black Lives Matter got all this money, and they're not even taking that money and putting it into their chapters. They got various Black Lives Matter chapters. They're not seeing a dime of the money. Well, guess what? The $30 million that this commission got, they weren't going out of their way to volunteer that money. So what they did this past weekend is they put on a dog and pony show, because on Roland Martin's program, when he was interviewing Miss Fletcher, they tried to make it seem like, oh, it was a big surprise that the commission all gave them this $100,000. That's bull crap. Behind the scenes, they were fighting for more money. And it was the commission led by Kevin Matthews that wanted to give them the chump change. What do y'all think about that? I want to see what people think about that. Let's see your messages. Let's get your messages on the board here and see what y'all think about what I just said. I'm not lying to you. Let's see. We got the beautiful sister Advice with Mail. She says the commission is a shame. They were dumped. Yeah. And see, that's why today's event got canceled, because they just wanted to tote these folks out there and use them like their mascots, making mascots out of these beautiful people. And that's why when I heard Miss Viola Fletcher speak, you can tell she got the spirit of a warrior, because she continues to say within her 107 years on this earth that she wants justice and repair for her people. We got Natural, who's just come in the house. Peace to you. Thank you for being here. And do me a favor, everybody. And I always say this. Share the video in all of your social media. If you are a content creator, share the video in your social media and share this video in your community tab. That's how you grow channels. That's how you build a community as well. Thank you. We got Back to the Basics, who's come in. She says, Information Man Show mods. She's greeting everybody that's come in. Let me see some more messages here. She's not impressed with locking arms and singing, and don't blame her. No, I don't blame her. And of course, you had Reverend Jesse Jackson down there. It's funny how you get all these who's who in Black establishment who went down there. These folks haven't gone down there for God knows how long. None of these folks were down there a year ago. None of these folks have been down there talking about it, but everybody is making their photo op because they want to be on the photo op of history. So everybody wanted to be down there to get a little bit of that photo op, but it doesn't mean anything. You can have speakers. I'm going to tell you right now. And what's going on, Noble Strength? What's going on, sister? I shared one of your videos in my community tab. And ladies in the chat in the chat room, and everybody subscribe to each other's channels, write each other's name down so you can go back later. Check out Noble Strength. For you sisters out there who like fashion, she has an incredible fashion show. You like clothing, you like bags, you like fashion. Come on now, I know y'all enjoy beautiful clothing, beautiful items, bags, various things. Check out her channel. She does a fabulous job of displaying fashion and style and what have you. Beautiful job. She says, evening, Information Man and everyone. So check her channel out. Give her some support. But this is what I want to say. And I want to get everybody's opinion in the chat room. And I'll put your names and everything on the screen here for your comments. I want to know, and I'm not going to make this a super long video tonight. I want to get right to the point. I'm going to show you a video of Viola, Miss Fletcher. I want to know how you all feel about this symbolism. I'm being honest. I'm 51 years old and I'm tired of speeches. I'm sorry. I'm tired of hearing black people sing hymns and dancing. And as much as I love African drums, I don't want to see African drums. I don't want to see black folks shaking and dancing. When you're in a place that's hollow ground where black people were killed, black people, we've got nothing to be celebrating. We've got nothing to be dancing. Yes, I understand the importance of giving a recognition for what happened. That's proper. When you talk about what happened to black folks in this community in Greenwood, Black Wall Street, when you talk about the horrific things that happened to them, when people can tell the stories, that all makes sense. But in terms of the celebration, John Legend was supposed to be there, and that all got bogged down because, like I said, the last living of this whole incident, this whole massacre that was born out of white supremacy, racism, white supremacy is the same damn thing. That's what it is. Racism, white supremacy. They were jealous of black people who had a thriving community, black people that were able to build their own community within segregation. They were jealous of the fact that they had stores and shops and things of that nature, barber shops, their own law firms, their own banks. They were a sustained community. And the thing that kills me is that they did this in the 1920s. So there really is no excuse for black people. And I'm not calling anybody out personally, but this is the truth. There's no excuse for black people in general and overall for us to not be able to strive today when we have more technology, more advancements, and where we're trying to strive today. Not only when they got massacred and everything in their churches got burned down, you had white men who got in commercial planes and bombed this community. This had never happened before the first time on American soil. Not Pearl Harbor. No. Greenwood, Rosewood is the place that was bombed first. But nobody wants to talk about that. Now, let me pull something up here. I want to read something to you all. The massacre was sparked by the arrest of Dick Rowland, a 19-year-old black shoe shiner who was accused of assaulting against Sarah Page, a 17-year-old white elevator operator, as they toured the Greenwood Cultural Center. The President Biden told within 24 hours of that encounter that the mob that formed in the wake of Mr. Rowland arrest destroyed much of Greenwood. So the story goes is that the brother was shining shoes. He was a shoe shine man. He couldn't use the whites only bathroom, so he had to run across town to the blacks only. He went onto an elevator where there was a white girl, Sarah Page, who was an elevator operator, and somehow the story goes that he brushed against her. She cried that she was raped. There's also a story out there that she got involved with that she also got shook by an experience she had with a guy. And she turned around and just blamed it on the black guy. So there's a lot of stories. You have stories with people who lived it that were told by family members, and the oral tradition was passed down. But we do know one thing. The community was bombed and it was destroyed, and the white folks in that area were very jealous of the progress that black people were making economically, because they were doing better than the white folks that lived in the neighboring town or the neighboring city. Let me see what you have here. See what we have here. Who we have coming in. We've got cover man. 100 years of Me Too. Right. 100 years of Me Too, where black men are being accused of raping white women, and as a result, that's enough for white men to form mobs to take the lives of black people, kill them, destroy their businesses. It happened in Rosewood as well. This all goes back to the turn of Reconstruction, when black people came out of slavery and into Reconstruction. If you ever seen the movie The Birth of the Nation, which was originally showed at the White House, which gave rise to the movie industry, in which in that movie it depicted that after black people were freed from slavery, that black people were going to take over the government. They had black people in the White House, in the government chambers, and being unruly, stereotypes like eating fried chicken, putting their feet up on tables and being unruly and being out of control. That was what they did with white people and blackface that they put on the screen like that. And this movie is dangerous because it plays into what happened in Tulsa, Oklahoma, Black Wall Street. And in this depiction of this movie, it also depicted that black men would savage after white women and rape them. And as a result, white men had to come together, form what we call today the Ku Klux Klan, in order to save white women from the savages of a black man, because we were savage in their minds. It was white supremacy. Racism still exists today. As a result of that, in the movie depicted them saving the day and killing black people. Matter of fact, it showed how they got the idea to put sheets over their heads because there was a stereotype that black people were scared of ghosts. So they began to portray that on cinema, in media, that their form of media at that time. And the president, I think at the time, it skips my mind who the president was at that time. This was a silent movie. It was a silent picture. He said that the movie spoke truth like lightning, that it was lightning spoken with truth. I may not have the quote completely correct. What I'm saying is that comes right out of that movie that put a message into the minds of white society that you can't trust black people, black men. They're savage. They're going to get your women. Now, consequently, we got black men on social media who debate and argue about whether we should give black women protection. But this is the thing that's crazy. Even when white men have problems with their women, this is why you got white men that go MGTOW. Where do you think that shit came from? Even when they have problems or they believe that they have problems with their women, they will go buck wild to protect their women to the point that they will mob. And historically, they did mob black communities, burned them to the ground. White men would destroy black communities. You had massacres all over this country where white men destroyed black communities in the name of protecting the white woman, even when she was lying. And we've got Negroes on social media who will run around and say, should we be protecting the black woman? Don't protect the black woman, black man. Save yourself. Now, to each his own. People can believe what they want to believe, do what they want to do. But what I'm saying is, we got not all black men, because most of the cats that I hear on these social medias, the black men that I deal with and have dealt with throughout my life that are professionals, family men, they don't talk like that. But the fact that even white men at that time will go buck wild if you touch their women. And in the modern time, we've got brothers, some brothers, not all. I would just say the brothers, that it's not all brothers, but it's brothers who they got a lot of problems. that would say don't protect the sisters. Because you don't want to sacrifice yourself. I get that. I get that. You don't want to sacrifice your own life as well. But white men would go buck wild in this country when it came to their women, and their women could lie, and they could even know that they were lying, and they still would posse up. That's just a footnote. Just wanted to throw that out there. And I got Mary Jane TV who just came in. I'm glad you came in, sister, because I'm glad you came in, because what happened is that YouTube has thrown you out of my algorithm where I'm not getting your lives. YouTube does not help us when it comes to our channels, because they throw people out of the algorithm. Yes, it is sad. It is sad. It is sad. Now, let me go ahead and play this video of Viola Fletcher, because I want to give an analysis that goes back to what just happened this past weekend, where it was a lot of celebration, a lot of talk, but where is the substance of reparations? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to play this, and let me see. Let me look at someone else. We got Bonnie Rose, who's come in the house. We've got Anita B, who's in the house. We've got, let me see who this is. We got, and Mary Jane has a great channel. I want y'all to check her channel out too as well. She has a great channel. If you like, what's happening with the celebrities and things of that nature, check her channel out. She focuses on Black celebrities, the gossip, the tea, as they call it. Check it out. What's going on? Omega Dreads gaming channel. He says, my symbol proves this. Right. Like I'm saying. Don't get me wrong, Omega Dreads. As a Black man, we have to build ourselves up. We have to focus on ourselves and building ourselves up. And we should never put ourselves in danger for someone who's not worth it, for someone that would throw us under the bus, right? But what I'm trying to say is that I believe if a Black woman is worthy of my protection, I know her, I covet her, whether it be my wife, my girlfriend, whatever, and I have a connection to that sister, and I know she's a good sister, and you got one of these race soldiers trying to put their hands on her, then I should be willing to stand up and say, no. Because guess what? Because race soldiers are putting their hands on us as Black men. They're killing us in the streets. They're shooting us as cops with badges. And I do see a lot of Black women out there that be marching in the streets when Black men are being killed by police. I do see that. Let me play this the video for you all. And I thank you for coming on through and being a part of the chat today and everything like that. I really appreciate that, everybody. Let me play this. This is Viola Fletcher. And I want you guys to really listen to what she says. And you probably have seen this video already, but I want you to see near the end the response that she got. But there's something else that's wrong with this, and I'm gonna talk about that. And let's go with it right now. This is the you guys always know I always say tell the truth, and I always say here is the breaking news.
Is Miss Viola Fletcher, also known, if I can, Mother Fletcher. Thank you. I don't have a mother, so thank you. Mother Fletcher is the oldest living survivor of the Tulsa Race Massacre. She was 7 years old when she lived through the massacre. Mother Fletcher, you are now recognized to testify. Is the microphone on?
Yes. My name is that. Okay. My name is Viola Ford Fletcher. I'm the daughter of Lucinda Ellis and John Wesley Ford of Tulsa, Oklahoma. I'm the sister of Hughes Van Ellis, who is also here today. I'm a survivor of the Tulsa Race Massacre. 2 weeks ago, I celebrated my 107th birthday. Today, I'm visiting Washington, D.C. for the first time in my life. I'm here seeking justice, and I'm asking my country to acknowledge what happened in Tulsa in 1921. On May 31st in 21, I went to bed in my family's home in Greenwood. Neighbors of Tulsa, the neighborhood I felt asleep in that night, was rich, not just in terms of wealth, but in culture, community, heritage, and my family had a beautiful home. We had great neighbors, and I had friends to play with. I felt safe. I had everything a child could need. I had a bright future ahead of me. Greenwood could, Still, Greenwood should have given me the chance to truly make it in this country. Within a few hours, all of that was gone. The night of the massacre, I was awakened by my family. My parents and 5 siblings were there. I was told we had to leave, and that was it. I will never forget the violence of the white mob when we left our home. I still see black men being shot, black bodies lying in the street. I still smell smoke and see fire. I still see black businesses being burned. I still hear airplanes flying overhead. I hear the screams. I have lived through the massacre every day. Our country may forget this history, but I cannot. I will not. And other survivors do not. And our descendants do not. When my family was forced to leave Tulsa, I lost my chance of an education. I never finished school past the 4th grade. I have never made much money in my country. State and city took a lot from me. Despite this, I spent time supporting the war effort in the shipyards of California. But most of my life, I was a domestic worker serving white families. I never made much money, but to this day, I can barely afford my everyday needs. All the while, the city of this Tulsa have unjustly used the names and stories of victims like me to enrich myself and its white allies through the 30s million raised by the Tulsa Centennial Commissioner while I was continued to live in poverty. I am a 107-year-old and have never seen justice. I pray that one day I will. I have been blessed with a long life and have seen the best and the worst of this country. I think about the terror, horror inflicted upon black people in this country every day. This subcontinued committee has the power to lead us down a better path. I'm asking that my country acknowledge what has been happened to me, the traumas and the pain, the loss, and I ask survivors and descendants to be given the chance to seek justice, open the door. All of you know how easy it is to deny that a violent mob threatened your lives and took your property. For 70 years, the city of Tulsa and its Chamber of Commerce told us that the massacre didn't happen, like we didn't see it with our own eyes. You have me here right now You see Mother Randall, you see my brother Hughes Van Ellis. We live this history and we can't ignore it. It's our lives with us. Oh my goodness. We lost everything that day, our homes, our churches, our newspapers, our theaters, our lives. Greenwood represented all the best of what was possible for black people in America and for all the people. No one cared about us for almost 100 years. We and our history have been forgotten, washed away. This Congress must recognize us and our history. For Black America, for the white Americans, and for all Americans, that's some justice. Guess that's it. Thank you.
Do you want to say anything else?
I thought it was another page.
Do you want to say anything else?
Mm-hmm.
Is there anything else you want to say?
No, it's not.
Thank you very much. We appreciate very much your testimony.
Okay, everybody. The reason why I wanted to play that, man, let me. What was most important about what she was saying, and this is about truth. This is about truth, everybody. And if you can, once again, share the video, like the video. I definitely appreciate that. And I want to say thank you to everybody that's here watching. Thank you. Don't forget to subscribe to the program as well. I definitely would appreciate that. This is the truth of the matter. And I got to say it. In her speech, and I'm going to get to the super chats because Noble Strength, you super chatted me. Thank you. I think Black Outcast super chatted me earlier. I appreciate that. Mary Jane gave me a Cash App. I appreciate the Cash App, sister. Thank you very much. Make sure y'all check out their channels. In her speech, she clearly said that she worked for white folks all her life. In what she said, she clearly stated that she has no money. She said that what they did to her community and what the city did, or Tulsa did to her, kind of ruined certain prospects in her life, certain opportunities. She said up to that time, she was going to school and getting education, but that changed everything when her community was destroyed. At 7 years old, it put her back educationally. There's no telling where her life could have gone in that type of community that was economically doing well. But in the speech that she gave, you can clearly hear her say that I'm in the situation that I'm in today, struggling to make ends meet and 107 years old because of what they did to me. All these years have passed. The United States government has known about Tulsa, Oklahoma. Everybody's getting all giddy and all excited about, it's 100-year centennial. Oh, Joe Biden, the great white hope, comes down to Tulsa, Oklahoma, and black folks are clapping. Yay! Yay! Laughing and giddy. Oh, it's celebration time. Oh, yes. Ding dong. We're off to see the Wizard of Oz. There's nothing funny about it. She sat up there and told them their story. The government, the Congress, the U.S. Congress, they already know about the story. They know about other massacres like Rosewood and many others. And they haven't done anything in all these years. Most of you that are in the chat room right now, They knew about it before most of us were even born. Do you hear what I'm saying? Most of us on this YouTube, in this chat room, weren't even born, and the government knew about this massacre, did nothing. Here she is, 107 years old, and the government has done nothing to make her whole, or either the other two survivors or her descendants. Why? When she was a much younger woman, they never repaired them with the reparations. They've known about the city. Oh, they ran a freeway through this town in the 1970s. Oh, you had a Ku Klux Klan headquarters that was put right in their community. You have, and I know this history very well because my ancestor was a freeman. You had the Creek Native freemen. You had the Creek Native American, the Creek Natives. And what I found out about the Creek tribe, let me read something to you all right here. You're going to learn something today. Come to class. Oh, let me read something to you. Challenging America. Check this out. Even before all this 100 years, do you know that there were black people in this community who were part of the Creek tribe, and they got disenfranchised and built? And check this out. We know about the term $5 Indian. That was white people who lied and said that they were Native American, because at one point in time, Native Americans at that time were getting money from the government. They were getting some funding. And you had white people who claimed to be Native American. And I even heard someone talk about this, how most of the Native Americans that were part of this Creek Nation, they were white folks. Oh, by the way, let me give you another breaking news and tell the truth. Let's give you another breaking news. Another breaking news, that a lot of these Creek Nation so-called Indians or Native Americans who were actually white, they were intermixing. Do you know that they joined in the mob and destroying the community of Greenwood? Yes, this Native American tribe, the Creek Freemen, check this out. The Creek Freemen pushed for indigenous tribal rights. That means that these were freemen. Who were freemen? Freemen were black people, because native tribes, they enslaved black people or brought black people into their tribes as slaves. And then they married into the tribe and became members of the tribe. A lot of times these were freemen. And what the Creek Nation did is they disenfranchised them. They were recognized, and then over the years, as the years passed, in 79, they disenfranchised them from being recognized as part of the tribe, which means they lose all other rights. The Creek Freemen pushed for indigeneity, to be recognized in the tribe, for indigenous rights in the tribe, decades after being disenfranchised. Centuries after traveling the Trail of Tears with Native Americans and becoming entrenched in their culture. That's black people that were native, that were entrenched in the Creek culture. The descendants of free African pursued their lost birthrights. And this Creek Nation disenfranchised them, kicked them out, disowned them. Many Americans do not know that both free and enslaved African Americans once lived with and were owned by Native Americans. Telling the truth. When African Americans were given their freedom from the Native American tribes in 1866, so Native American tribes gave black people freedom in 1866, the Creek Freemen were given equal rights and recognition as members of the tribe. Creek freedmen were disenfranchised from the tribe, from the Creek Nation in 1979, as I just said, folks, and are still fighting to this very day to be recognized and re-entered into the tribe today, ladies and gentlemen. Not yesterday, today. And on top of that, you had members of this tribe back in the 1920s who were your $5 Indians who involved themselves in destroying Black Wall Street, Greenwood, this beautiful community in Tulsa, Oklahoma in 1921. You hear what I'm saying? Now let me get back. And I got to do the super chat music because people have super chatted me. So let me do super chat music and celebration. And I'll get right back to your comments in just a moment. Bear with me. All right, super chat. Super chat, everybody. Yeah. Thank you very much for your support, everybody. I definitely enjoy the super chats. I just had to run that for a while because there were people who had super chatted me, and I don't want to be disrespectful and not acknowledge their super chat. And I appreciate, and Mary Jane gave me the $15 Cash App. Thank you. It goes back into the program, into the show. And I really appreciate everything that you are that you're doing, sister. So I appreciate the support that you're giving me. And we're going to keep it rocking. Let me go back into my other camera and we're going to go over here. So thank you. And just so you know, folks, don't be shy because remember to subscribe. Don't be shy. Subscribe. Give support to the channel. I definitely would appreciate that. And make sure you like. And thanks for watching tonight. Like, give a comment, what have you. And if you want to catch me on social media, you can catch me right over here. I'm on Information Man Facebook, Information Man IG, Information Man Show. You can find me on Twitter. So check that out. Don't be shy about it. I definitely would appreciate you all showing that kind of support and everything like that. So I really appreciate that. So let me come out of that and get over here back to where I was at. It's about truth. And telling the truth and being honest about the things that have happened in this situation. So, like I was saying, Viola Fletcher is telling these folks about her struggles, everything that she's gone through. And one of the things that bothered me about that video, folks, is that after she said what she said, all they did, they got up, they stood up, they clapped their hands, all the folks in Congress, everybody that was listening. But I'm thinking to myself, she don't need claps. She don't need the symbolicism of you standing up and clapping for her. I want to know, why is it that none of those Congress people that was on that committee, nobody in there said, Ms. Viola Fletcher, we're going to make you whole. We're going to cut that check. We're going to get the reparations going. You don't hear anybody talking about that. That's what they want. Everybody wants to skim away from that issue. Let me go into the chat room and see. We got another super chat here by G Scott, aka Super Earth, $10 super chat. G Scott, I thank you for supporting the channel. I'm going to definitely give you super chat music and celebration in a moment, but let me read a couple more. We got IV, who came in the house. We got my man Chris. Oh, we got Chris, the gaming channel. That's the young brother and his father from England. Check him out. This young man's got a nice gaming channel. He's going to be doing big things. Thank you for coming over and supporting the channel. Big ups to you in the UK. Thank you for checking me out this evening. Now we got Hellfire says, I'm looking this up right now. Creek Freeman. There were freemen of the other four civilizations or civil nations. Tribal, yeah. Check out the Creek Nation. They disenfranchised black people that were in their tribe. And in the Tulsa riot, like I said before, there were those $5 Indians, and you know what that means when I say that, who participated in destroying this community. This is facts. Look it up. We got my man, Brother Rob, in the house. He says, no sound. No sound? Uh-oh. What's going on? Hey, Brother Rob, you saying I don't have any sound? Uh-oh. Let me see, everybody, if you can hear me, let me know if you can hear me. Let me know if you can hear me by putting a 1 in the chat room. If you can hear me, put a 1 in the chat room. I can. Okay, so everybody can hear me. So Brother Rob had said, he said no sound info, and I'm wondering, well, where was the sound? When you say no sound, where? Okay, everybody can hear me. So where was there no sound at? Does anybody what's going on, Mary Jane TV? Good to see you here again, Tiffany Jackson. Okay, so everybody is saying that they can hear me. They put a 1 in the chat room because they can hear me. So I'm wondering, where was there no sound? That's really weird. Where was there no sound? Anyway, you all can hear me now. So let me just go forward and get some of your comments in the chat room here. I want to see what people are saying. So true, Chris. And then 107-year-old, by the time the money comes, she'll be no longer here. She'll be gone. Yes. That's the thing that bothers me, is that, once again, it's about the debt that needs to be paid. This woman has put out what has happened to the community. They've already known about this. So it's not a secret. They should have cut a check for the community because they destroyed that community, right? Joe Biden's talking this campaign speech about redlining and putting housing programs. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. If you got descendants that are still alive that live in that community, and some that have lost their businesses in that community, who you need to pay the debt to them. Not all this symbolic symbolism. It doesn't work. It doesn't work, folks. And let me say thank you for the super chat again, Miss. Let me go back up there. I'm having some problems. Hopefully you all can hear me. G. Scott gave me a nice super chat, so let me play a little bit of the music and get us going again. All right, super chat. All right, everybody. All right. I'm back. And I had to give that celebration because G. Scott gave me a fantastic super chat there. Really appreciate it again. And we make it do what we make it do. So let me come off of this, put this overlay back up here like it's supposed to be. And I appreciate that. Now, I want everybody in the chat room look these things up about the Creek Nation. I was listening to people who had family members that told them stories. That's how I found out about the Creek Nation and those $5 Indians who basically contribute to getting involved in destroying this community. In a nutshell, before I end the program this evening, in a nutshell, like I said, speeches are cute. They make you feel fuzzy all over. They're sentimental, the whole 9 yards. But at the end of the day, these people need economics being infused to them directly. And it seems to me that the United States knows that there's a debt to be paid, yet they have failed to do it. Now you've got to ask yourself about the Do Nothing Black Caucus. What has the Congressional Black Caucus been doing all these years? I saw Clyburn down there over this weekend on TV or on YouTube. What have they been doing all these years that they have not gotten Miss Fletcher and those other descendants in that community the money that they need when that community has literally been destroyed? We're setting up here in the year 2021, and they're just now talking about redigging up mass graves to give those black folks that were killed in that massacre by that racist, white supremacist, white mob crowd, that we're just now deciding to excavate their bodies to give them a proper burial just in 2021. Come on now, what's going on here? I'm saying these things because while people are celebrating this and making a big deal over this weekend, and people are the fact that they waited this long to do anything speaks to the bullshit, speaks to the lack of leadership, both in the Congressional Black Caucus, black leaders that we vote for. It also speaks to the lack of leadership on both Democrat and Republican side, because the Democrats ain't done jack shit, and the Republicans, you know, they ain't gonna do shit. Now, Joe Biden comes to town, and this is what he got to say about the program that he want to put forward. Let me see what somebody's saying in there. We got G. Scott, a.k.a. Super Earth, says yes. Clinge. We've got a photo op. Yeah, smiling and waving. Yeah, today if you guys have a chance to watch that, all the clapping, when they announced that Joe Biden, the president of the United States, and he came walking into the room, and them black folks was, yay, clapping, and just, oh man, they were clapping like this. They were like, woo, Joe Biden. As if he was Jesus. I mean, they act as if he was Jesus in a suit. We got CCS. She says, I'm so glad that the ADOS movement has changed how we talk about reparations. Yes, indeed, CCS. Welcome. If you have not subscribed to the channel, go ahead and subscribe, become a part of the family over here. Yes, 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 in truth. We've got Afro in the house. She says, Golden doing the super chat. So Snow music is her just the people dancing. Oh, you can't hear the music. Oh, that's what it was. I apologize. Now, I got to figure out why my music isn't piping in. Oh my goodness. Okay, I got to figure something out with that. That should have never happened. I apologize. That's what Brother Rob meant when he said he could not hear anything. And now I got to go into something. Give me 1 minute to fix something and see if I can fix this right here. Testing, 1, 2, 3. Why is this coming off low here? Testing, 1, 2, 3. Testing. Let me go into this and fix something real quick here. Let me go into my my mic settings and make sure. So you can hear me, but you could not hear the music. I'm sorry about that. What is going on? You know, it's because I'm using StreamYards and I got my software going into StreamYards, and I think that could be what's interfering with it. Let me bring this volume up just a little bit more, and there we go. And let me go to my master volumes, and everything seems okay. So everybody can hear me in the chat room, right? Just let me know if you can hear. You can all hear me in the chat room. Just push a 1. If you can't hear the music, that's understandable. There's something going on with the StreamYards and my software going into StreamYards. Let's see. Come on, Black folks dancing over remembering a vicious tragedy. Yes, indeed. Yeah, you all can hear me. Okay, it's just the music you couldn't hear. Information man, thanks. I really wanted you to continue through, though. No problem. Okay, I'm going to continue. So in a nutshell, you got Joe Biden and you got all this clapping and people getting all excited about him coming to town. Let me play for you, and I know you'll be able to hear this, Joe Biden speaking for a little while about what he planned to do. A little clip it here, and here we go.
Effort to combat racial discrimination in housing. That includes everything from redlining to the cruel fact that a home owned by a black family is too often appraised at a lower value than a similar home owned by a white family. And I might add, and I need help if you have answered this one, I can't figure this one out, Congressman Horsford, but if you live in a black community and there's another one on the other side of the highway, it's a white community, it's built by the same builder, and you have a better driving record than the guy with the same car in the white community, you're getting paid more for your auto insurance. Shockingly, the percentage of black American homeownership is lower today in America than when the Fair Housing Act was passed more than 50 years ago. Lower today. That's wrong. And we're committed to changing that. Just imagine if instead of denying millions of Americans the ability to own their own home and build generational wealth, we made it possible for them to buy a home and build equity into that home and provide for their families. Second, small businesses are the engines of our economy and the glue of our communities. As president, my administration oversees hundreds of billions of dollars in federal contracts for everything from refurbishing decks of aircraft carriers to installing railings in federal buildings to professional services. We have a thing called, I won't go into it all, there's not enough time now, but I'm determined to use every taxpayer's dollar that is assigned to me to spend going to American companies and American workers that build American products. And as part of that, I'm going to increase the share of the dollars the federal government spends to small disadvantaged businesses, including black and brown small businesses. Right now it calls for 10%. I'm going to move that to 15% of every dollar spent will be spent below. I have the authority to do that.
Now let me stop that. Now let me say this, and I want everyone's honest opinions in the chat room, and I'll pull your your statements up on the screen. Let me say this, everybody. What Joe Biden said about the disadvantages that Black people in America have historically and currently still deal with is true. If a Black person buys a house, the same house that a white person buys, and we try to sell it, we get below market value. They devalue Black people who buy homes in nice communities. So even if you are a Black person and you live in a nice community, a nice upscale middle-class Black community, they still devalue your home in comparison to your white counterpart in their communities. And in some cases, when Black people buy homes that are in mainly white communities and we decide to sell it, we will get below value. They won't give us the fair market value. They'll make us think that we're getting the value, the full market value. Hell, you guys remember this, ladies, and everybody in the chat room listening. There was a situation where you had a Black woman married to a white man. They were selling a house, and the house got appraised for less money. Nobody wanted to buy the house because they had pictures of her child, pictures of her was in the house, and because it was a house with pictures of a Black woman and a Black mixed child, they were getting below value. But as soon as they took the Black pictures down, her husband took the pictures down and he put his family pictures up where it only looked like a white man lived in the house or white people. Oh, they got full market value. It went sky up. So Joe Biden, what he's saying, although it's correct, but it's misplaced, meaning it sounds like a campaign speech. What he's saying is what he's going to do for the general public. Then he starts getting into this brown. Now he talks about Black people, and then he wants to flip it into brown people. You went to a centennial commemoration, a centennial week in a program. As it related to Black people being massacred. You said you spent time with the living survivors, like Miss Fletcher, and you had conversations with them. And then you get into a speech about redlining, housing programs. All that stuff sounds good, Joe Biden. All those programs you're talking about sounds good, but guess what? It hasn't been passed into law. Matter of fact, wait a minute, let me correct myself. If they just enforce the laws that were on the book, where you're not supposed to redline us because of the civil rights laws, if they just enforce what was already on the books, Black people wouldn't have to be dealing with this. They don't enforce what's on the books. We got Joe Biden, who we voted for more than any other group, and he's given us promises about, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. He has given no executive order for any of the things that he just sat up there and talked about. The reason why it was inappropriate because he never spoke to what he's going to do for the descendants of Black Wall Street. He never said what he was going to do directly into infusing money into that community that was devastated. He talked about how he controls billions of dollars and contracts with these corporations. Why can't you take some of that billions of dollars and put it into this particular area in Tulsa, Oklahoma, Greenwood? And why can't you take money and put it into other Black communities that were massacred? Why is it that we have to deal with this trickle down bullshit where we got to wait for some housing program? They had land stolen from them. Land needs to be given back to them at market rate today. And if you can't do that, then you need to cut a check for them for the market value today. But you didn't hear Joe Biden say any of that. You didn't hear him say, this is what we're going to do for the people of Greenwood, who we have identified as descendants, who we have identified as the last living. This is what we're going to do for the business community here. Black people that lost their storefronts. Black people who got driven out of that part of Greenwood and got pushed north. He talked about how the freeway got built that destroyed the community. But you don't hear Joe Biden saying what he's exactly going to do for the people of that community, since the whole event in the Centennial was about Black Wall Street. He's talking in general terms, flat general term. And today on the news, when I was listening, they said the Biden administration was shying away from the reparations question. And then you even have black men like Kevin Matthews, who's a black state senator who's a part of the Tulsa Massacre Commission, who raised up, they got $30 million, and they weren't even trying to break them off this money. They had to demand something. And then when they demand for $1 million for each of the 3 survivors, they didn't want to do that. So they came up with this 100,000 thing. Meanwhile, they had 30 million that they didn't even want to pony up any money to these folks. And then they're building a museum, which the city of Tulsa, Oklahoma is going to make sure they make as much profit off of that as possible, off of black pain and suffering and trauma. Building a museum to what happened keeps the history alive. But why are they able to spend money to build a museum, but they have not been able to figure out money to give to those who actually lost economically through generation? That's my point of view. That's where I'm coming from, ladies and gentlemen. Let me see what folks are saying in the chat room. We got Web Savvy Calf who's coming. She says, greetings, Mom. Welcome here, my sister. Welcome here. Matter of fact, let me welcome here. We've got Anita B says, the only thing blacks are going to get is a stimulus check. Yeah, it's a damn shame. Truth. Tiffany Jackson says she's saying hi to someone. And then we've got hello to the chat. Anita B says, greetings, Web. And let's see what else. We got the Black Cyber Network. He says, I knew it was you could see it, a mockery. You could see it on that devil's face. Yeah. And you heard on the video that I played what he's prepared to do, but he's talking in general. Why would you go to an event like this and start talking in general terms? Then he start talking about corporate businesses and all of this sort of stuff and how he wants to give. I get what Joe Biden is claiming he wants to do. But to me, the people of that community, they want to hear what you're going to do for them. That's the damn point. Everybody's talking to each other in the chat room, which is very nice. Let's see. The only thing black, we read that part here. Let me go upstairs and see what else I missed. Okay, we got Maurice Smith who says that the deflection, they will always turn away from black people and talk about other groups. And in the end, black people get nothing or very little. I agree with you. Web Savvy Cafe says, hello, information man. Looking forward to the discussion on Tulsa 20. Right. Sister, I'm going to need you, because I'll be ending pretty soon, to look at this video from the beginning, because I got really heavily into that in the early part of the video. We got I am V saying, oh, so money was stolen from them. Yes, money was stolen from them. Oh, not to mention that the Creek Nation also owes black people in this community money as well, because they, like I said, they were involved in the massacre. They joined in on destroying this community, the $5 Native American or the $5 Indian, which are really white people lying and saying that they're Native when they're really not, because they were trying to grab the bag when this government was giving Native people money. So you had white people claiming to be Native American. Then you had some of these tribes that did intermingle with them sexually. So you had a group of mixed Native and white people. And then you had white people that were just lying about being part of these tribes, and they joined in the massacre. Let me see what Tiffany Jackson is saying right here. He would never go to an event regarding the Holocaust and talk about what he's planning to do for the Jews and then someone else. Yeah. Joe Biden would never go to talk to the Jewish community and start talking to them and not telling them what he's going to do for them, and then start talking about other people or talking in general terms. He would never do that. But this is what they do to black people. This is what they've done to us for a long, long time. Let me go back up here and see if I missed any other comments. Okay, G. Scott said the mayor said it would be a conversation. I said it was a threat. They don't want to give up the money. Yeah, it's conversations are great, but these people need more than that. Yes, I heard of something like this happening. The black people had their white friends pretend to own the home. Then and only then they were able to sell the home. Exactly, Afro. Exactly, my sister. Exactly. Okay, we got Black Cyber Network. We have a extreme need for self-identification to determine our own future. That's right. We do. We do. We got Cyber Network is up here saying, again, we need identity ourselves, identify ourselves. Anita B said, I thank God I didn't vote for him. And Cyber Network again says, I read those already, so let me go back down and see what else we got right here. The mayor said, conversation, right. And then we got Tulsa had nothing to do with Browns, right. The Brown community has nothing to do. That's like Joe Biden talking to the Latino or the Latin LX, I think what they're calling it now, and going to a situation where they were massacred, and then he starts talking about black folks. This is a black community that was destroyed, and everyone knows it, and they're not doing anything about it. No tangibles. They need tangibles. They don't need songs. They don't need they don't need R&B singers. They don't need John Legend singing you to sleep. They don't need him, hold it. We don't need nobody singing us to sleep. We don't need that. They need tangibles. They need to know, what are you prepared to do? How you're going to do it. They need solutions. They need money being infused in their community. Oh, not to mention, ladies and gentlemen, that Oklahoma as a state owes this community money. Miss Viola Fletcher said that she also holds the state of Oklahoma responsible. Now, let me tell y'all something. I just did a podcast, and I hope you guys check out the podcast. You can catch it on Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Spotify. It's not on the YouTube version. This is straight off the traditional podcast. I did put it into my community tab, and you can go listen to it. The governor of Oklahoma, who's a white supremacist as well, is Kevin Stilts. He just passed a bill early this month banning racial theory in the grade schools, meaning they don't want people teaching critical racial theory in Oklahoma schools, to the point that when it came to the history of Black Wall Street and the massacre, do you know a lot of people who grew up in this community, including Black people, they didn't even know about it because they don't teach it in the schools. Now they just passed a bill to ban critical race theory in schools because they think that it's going to make white people feel bad. It's going to make them feel embarrassed. They don't want people hearing the history because the history is not pretty. So if it ain't pretty history, then we shouldn't be teaching it. And if you don't know your history, you'll be doomed to repeat your past in your damn future when you don't know your history. So that's the games that they're playing in Oklahoma. The governor, who, from my understanding, is also a part of that commission. Keep these things in mind, folks. Tiffany Jackson says, we need to remove our children from their public and private schools. I agree with that. Feel bad, make them feel bad. Making them feel bad. Yes, check out the podcast. Matter of fact, maybe I'll throw it in the chat for you all to listen to on your own time. Give me just 1 minute to track this down real quick. Here we go. Boom. And then I'm going to go into there. Give me 1 minute because I'm going to give you the actual link to it. And I'm going to put it in the chat room. There we go. I'm going to copy it and then put it in the, here we go. And there we go. And you can check it out when you have the time. And let me see what I got to do here to get this thing moving. Excuse me, folks. Just bear with me. Technical problems here. Boom. There it is. It's in there. I put it in the chat. Check that out when you get a chance because it is really horrible what's going on, what continues to go on. Let me check some more chats. Put them on the screen. There it is. I put that in there so you all can check that out. And Web Savvy is still in the house. She says, advice. Okay, everyone's talking to each other, which is really nice. I like that. Absolutely. G. Scott, AK, definitely been supporting the channel. And let me say to my sister, advice with Mel, I'm mixed. If history serves me correct, according to that, I dropped rule, one drop rule. Yeah, but let me just tell you something. You know, as well as I know, sister, that even within certain white communities, even when you are mixed, they only still let you go so far. Now, they use the light-skinned and the dark-skinned thing as another way to divide us. And they do it by treating one group better, treating lighter-skinned people better than treating the darker skin. That's the little game that they play to divide us against each other and then to make us hate one another. And that's the game that's been played for a long time. Okay, let's see. Afro says, Black children need to know their history. Learn from home is the only way because they are refusing to teach us about us. That's correct. That's definitely correct. Good point, Afro. Great point. You're making great points. Right, colorism. Advance with Mel. Definitely colorism. And let me just tell you something. To my sisters out there listening, sisters, you guys, you all have to stop pushing the colorism too, because a lot of times people will say, well, you know, Black men are pushing it, but you have a lot of Black women who also push the colorism, and it's also making it stay alive. So not only Black men, but Black women have to stop pushing the colorism narrative amongst themselves. because you just play into the hands of our enemies when you do that. Patience has come into the house. Good to see you here. And she says, peace, beloved Information Man show. I appreciate that. And then we have Tiffany Jackson, who says, I have to take off for the evening. Hey, I'm about to end the program. Miss Tiffany Jackson, thank you for coming over and supporting the show. Everybody that super chatted, everyone who's coming and spoke their mind in the chat room. And I'm also glad that I was able to put everything that you all have said to a certain degree on the screen to be able to read your messages. Let me see. We got Web Savvy who says this. Information Man, as far as melanin, move as more as less. Yes, that's been something I continue to stamp out when I see it in my family. Yes. Stop it. Because, you know, the truth of the matter is nobody is in control of how they're born in terms of their skin tone. None of us came into the world and were given a choice to be what skin tone we are. We didn't ask for the parents that we have. But my thinking is where I'm at with it is this. I look at a person's mindset. What is your mindset? Is your mindset that you are for your people? You are for your history? You are for the betterment of our community? Where is your mindset? And Advice with Mel says this. It wasn't until recently that biracial people even were offered a check box for race. Oftentimes others it was not an option. Okay, Mel, I got to tell you something though. And you're not going to probably like what I have to say here, but this is true through history. You know that they've always, like I said, they used the divide and conquer, but they also have used biracial people or biracial black people that are biracial. They have used them as buffers against us. So you have situations where you'll have someone of mixed race that'll get on television and say, well, I don't think racism exists. It doesn't exist because, see, I'm doing well. They'll use mixed race people because when you're mixed race and you have either a white mother or a white father, you're kind of caught in a web there because you're saying to yourself, well, how can I say anything that's negative towards white society when my father's white or my mother is white, and that's the woman that raised me. That's the woman that I saw with my eyes as a child. So what happens with people who are biracial like that is that society likes to use you if you have a buffer mind mentality where they can use you against black people who are talking about these sort of issues, like getting reparations or like what happened. So, and they do it by using psychological warfare. And that psychological warfare is to get us to not like each other because of skin tone. And if you notice, all groups of people, even in South America, Brazil, all these other cultures, even in East Indian culture, whenever you're darker skinned, you get treated very poorly. Sometimes when you're more fairer skinned, sometimes you get treated a little bit different. And even if you get treated a little bit different than a darker skinned black person, they only allow you to have so much ceiling to go so far within their system. They're still going to see you as an in because you're never 100% a part of their clan. Those who think on that plane, that level, those who think in that level are going to look at you that way. So we have to understand that the social dynamics of race are very dangerous because these are dynamics that they've been using on us all the way back to the plantation, Reconstruction, throughout the decades to pit us against one another. Okay, she absolutely agrees with me. Thank you, my sister. We got Anita B. Tell the truth. I'm going to get ready to get out of here. We got Black Man coming in. Thank you, my brother. Meghan Markle didn't claim blackness, and they showed her ass. Right. You know what? Thank you, black man, because now you gave me she's a perfect example. Now, when you look at her, she doesn't have the phenotype or the negroid features of a typical black person. You look at her and she looked like she can be something else, right? And she didn't run around claiming her blackness that high, even though her mama was black. So she marries the prince. All the black women, come on now, a lot of black women were praising her. Oh, she's marrying into the royal family. Come on now. Some of you sisters out there were so happy to see that wedding and see her get married to that royal family. And guess what happened? The royal family was concerned about what color her child was going to turn out. So even though she lighter skinned, she got straight hair, she looked like she could pass, they still was concerned about her being in their family. Why you think she ran back to the United States with old Prince himself? He ran because he knew his family got racism in it. He even admitted it himself. She said she was going crazy over there dealing with that racist family, a family in the UK that people look up to, which is a family, a group in a system that was putting colonialism all over the damn world. We sitting up here celebrating her marrying into a family that's responsible for massacres throughout the world and throughout the centuries, and particularly with the colonialization of the continent of Africa. And she went over there and they were talking about the child, whether the child's going to get a title. And she ran back here to America. She got what Paul Mooney always says when he jokes. She got her Negro wake-up call. That's exactly what Meghan Markle got. She got her Negro wake-up call. Let me find what I was looking for here. That's exactly what she got. Yeah. She got her Negro wake-up call, and it took her off guard. So that's how it works. They only want to let you go so far. They didn't really want her in the royal family. Even when Princess Diana was about to marry this Arab dude, this dude that was very dark-skinned. That's why they had to take her out of the paint. So that family's got some, they got some evil going on over there. Information man Maurice Smith says, Joe, bingo, because they were happy she was going to be a real princess. Exactly. Thank you. Thank you. She thought she was going to make everything okay. Right. Me neither, G. Scott. Those people are evil. Right. Not I. Right. And then we got not me. Right. I like what y'all saying in the chat room. Sad situation she was in. Exactly. To the point that it was impacting her mental health. Now we've got Purple Paisley who's coming in the house. Thank you for coming on over, sister. Nice to see you over here. I know you're saying what's up to the cafe, Savvy Cafe. And then Advice with Mel is absolutely agreeing with the things that we're saying tonight, and I appreciate that. We got Patience who says, yep. And let me see. And Megan Markham did not claim. Yeah, I talked about that. You, my man, black man, you pushed the envelope to get me to talk about something that I had forgotten about. So I'm going to get ready to end. I appreciate you all coming over this evening. And maybe next time when I go live like this, at an earlier time, maybe like on the weekend, I can put a link in the chat room and have people come on upstairs and join me on a panel. So some of you, I would definitely like to have you come on upstairs and join me in a panel discussion about any kind of issues that are on your mind. So I want to thank you. I'm going to get ready to get on out of here, everybody. This has been a good stream for the particular issue that we're talking about here. I appreciate everybody coming on over here. You all have a good night. Do me a favor, share the video in all your social media. Share the video in your community tab. If you are a content creator and you have a community tab, thank you. Advice with Mel says, I would love to speak if off. Yeah. Matter of fact, I would like to get you on a panel. I've seen your channel, and I still have more interviews with people that are going to be coming up, folks. And yeah, I definitely like to throw a link in the chat room and have people come up and have a conversation. And maybe what I'll do is maybe go live, maybe on a weekend, not a weekday, but a weekend when people are more free at a good time, where I can put a link in there and get some of you on a panel. Hell, I don't care. I'll take, we can have 10 people on a panel. I'll take 9 people, whoever it is, and we can have discussions, an organic discussion about all that is on your mind that you want to talk about. It could be anything: men, women, relationships, some of the things that we deal with, solutions. What can we do to level ourselves up? What can we do to make our communities better? What can we do to make ourselves better? People in this chat room may have business connections, may be business savvy, may be computer savvy. Any of those things that people have skills that they can bring to the table, to whether it be your financial, you might have skills, you might be a financial advisor. Any of these skills that you have, when we have a panel, I want people to bring those skills to the forefront and pass that information on. We should be networking because we should be helping each other. That's what we should be doing. Now we got my man Cap, who just came in the house. This is a military veteran here, so make sure y'all get that brother some salute. We have Memorial Day that just passed. Make sure, and you know, Memorial Day, we wouldn't have that if it was not for Decorations Day. Decorations Day is the original name because you had black people. It was newly freed slaves who were the ones who decorated the grave sites and were the ones that had put these soldiers, black soldiers and white soldiers, in proper burial. And they sung songs and they recognized them. That's how Memorial Day, that's where we wouldn't have a Memorial Day if it was not for black people. So when you was barbecuing on Monday, when you was out there kicking it and relaxing, you got black people who made it possible for you to have Memorial Day in this country. It was black ex-slaves who were the originators of that. They called it Decorations Day. It did not become a national holiday until 1979, if I'm not mistaken. And therefore, a lot of people who celebrate it don't even realize, even black folks, that you're celebrating a day that black people made possible first, before it ever became national. So that's a little bit of history, a reminder. I appreciate everybody coming over. That's so true. Yeah, check it out, Anita Baker. Anything that I'm saying, if you think I'm not telling you the truth, all you got to do is do the research for yourself, and you'll find out. I even have a video on my second channel, the podcast channel, and I put the video to that, or the podcast to that, in my community tab on the Information Man Show. So check it out. And we got Cap. Give Cap respect. I'm glad that Cap is here. That brother is a military veteran, good brother, good man, and I'm glad that he came to the Charleston. Jill Scott says Charleston through the chat. Any of you who didn't see the video from the beginning, watch the video from the beginning, because I got very raw in the beginning and really dropped a few jewels in the beginning. And she says, thank you for your service. Thank you. No, thank you. You all in the chat room, and those that are watching, are you all make this possible. Now, let me say something. When you are talking about things that really matter to our community, YouTube does not want to let people see how many people are really watching you. So when I end this stream, I want everybody to go back and look at how many people were really watching. When I end this stream, I can make the argument that it'll probably be 4, 3, maybe 500, somewhere in there, the 3 or the 400, somewhere in there, or 5 that were watching. but YouTube won't give it to me in the watch box. What I'm saying to you is when you go live on your channel, you actually have more people watching you than what they show you in the watch numbers. YouTube plays a little game because they want you to think that your channel does not have any significance. If I was up here talking a bunch of nonsense and giving you nonsense talk about things that don't matter, oh, they would push me through the algorithms. With that said, let me get out of here. You all take care. Peace to you. Love you all. Thank you for coming over and supporting my little channel here. And I appreciate that. Thank you, everybody. Let me give everybody a clap. Thank you again. And here we go, folks. Here we go. Take care, everybody. Peace. Good night, everybody. All right, everybody. Good night. Have a good evening. And thank you for supporting the channel once more.